Hey everybody, welcome to Nga yet again. Today is another special episode. I am going to be presenting and showcasing another Conlang created by a good internet friend of mine. It is a language called Mondir, and it was created by my good bud Salem the Conlang, that is to be specific. He's got a fun Instagram account where he does all of his Conlang stuff on there. I'll put a link to it in the description and then I'll show pictures of it at the end. He and I decided that we were going to do this video probably like back in early May or something, like about right around whenever I was doing Cantwo's language. It is a big boy language. This is a really advanced and really complicated language that apparently Salem did in only a few months. So without further ado, let's get started on Mondir. Mondir, a Conlang by Salem. Okay, so Mondir is one of several Conlangs created by Salem in early 2020, designed to emulate the vibes of Latin while also being an ergative absolutive language. It has a lot of notable features as we're going to get to, but it's got a wild case system including full ergativity. It has many declensions that apply to every aspect of the verbs and nouns and adjectives and everything. It comes from a fully developed proto-language, and Mondir itself is the parent language to several descendant languages. An important note, so the documentation of Mondir includes the proto-language, Schwa, and also the sister languages of Mondir and the daughter languages of Mondir. In Salem's grammar book, Mondir is used as a reference point for the other languages just about as much as Mondir itself is discussed. So here's the phonology. We have ma, na, nya, pa, ba, ta, da, ka, ga, fa, sa, ha, la, ra, and sometimes za, wa, ia, and ra. And then for the vowels, we have I, u, u, e, a, o, along with a few diphthongs. The syllable structure is generally CCVC, and consonant clusters can only happen in these certain circumstances that are shown on the screen. Then we have the case system. So Mondir is an ergative absolutive language with 7 cases. Many of these cases dissipate in the daughter languages of Mondir: absolutive, ergative, genitive, dative, ablative, instrumental, and vocative. We have 3 genders in Mondir. We have masculine, feminine, and neuter. Most nouns ended with I in the singular absolutive form are feminine nouns, while most masculine nouns have ua in the singular ergative form. Then there's 2 types of grammatical numbers in Mondir. There's just singular and plural, but not all nouns can form the plural form, as all of the neuter words have only their singular form. Kind of similar to autotune, except it's like for physical objects and concepts. Anyway, then we have the cases. So we have absolutive and ergative. Subject of the intransitive verb goes with the absolutive case. With the transitive verb, it goes with the ergative. While the object goes with the absolutive case, etc. So we have this example sentence here, rondi prate, which means man, singular, absolutive. The verb is prate, eat, third, singular in the past. The man ate. Then we have the sentence below it, rondi bois ro fonote, which is man, singular, ergative, water, absolutive, drink, third, singular past, which means the man drank water. And then on to the declensions, which again, I love declensions. The declensions in Mondir take their shape from the proto-language Gnihua's declension system. So it creates a lot of irregularities, as we'll see going forward. So the first form of declension is the I declension, which has the O ending in the singular ergative form and li in plural form. And this is really impressive because it is naturalistic the way all of this happens. Like, look at these tables. We have usi, which is woman. Usi, usio, usiu, usimis, usie, usira, usia. And then its plural forms, usili, 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 usilimis, usila, usilibar, usiliba. And the neuter nouns in the first declension are mite in the dative form, ate in the ablative form, but rite in the instrumental form. Wild. I love that. Jeez. Evis to you. All right, so then we have type 2 declensions, which are called the A declensions or A declensions. This is for words that either end with A or with a consonant. So here we have an example of one that ends with a consonant. We have moges, which means knife. Moges, mogesam, mogesgu, mogesam, mogese, mogesar, mogesa, mogeslo, mogeslai, mogesla, mogeslai, mogeslar, mogeslava. All right, and then we have, again, whenever it's a neuter noun, there's a few differences. There's irregularities that happen. Ria, which is target, where we have ria, riate, riate, riamas, riate, riarite, riade. Type 3 is the U declension. Because it has U as the thematic vowel, the nouns in this declension can be both masculine and neuter. Most of the words in the third declension come from the U stem words in Gnihuach, and that's why they have the U sound as the thematic vowel. Because of the changes that have happened since Gnihuach, a lot of these words in the U declension don't actually end with U. A lot of them have O or U in them, but can end with a different consonant or something, because of the changes that have happened over time. Os, which as you can see, no longer ends with an U, which means head or king. We have os, osua, osumis, osua, osar, osa. And then we have osle, 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 oslemis, osla, oslur, osluba. And then we have ro, the concept of water, which does end in U, where we have ro, rote, romute, rote, rorite, rode. Yeah, the third declension has tons of variables to it. Like, I just show on here the image of like the first page of the exceptions to the third declension rule. Because as I said, like there's a lot of these things that have changed since the proto-language, and with that comes tons of variations. The one example I'm showing here, because I don't have time to go through every one of them, is God, the word sor here, where we have sor, sorua, sorumis, sorua, sorar, sora, sote, sotemis, sota, sotur, sotuba. And then the fourth declension also has a ton of irregularities to it, also because of the things that have happened since Gnihuach. Because of the sound changes, some of these words even have entire hidden syllables in them, where the word ia, which means person, can change into iagebo and iagelo. There are many consonants that have disappeared entirely from classical Mondir since Gnihuach, but in certain circumstances, some of these consonants can come back. Like in this word here, penol for kid changes into penolco and penollo, which the hidden sound is obviously the K in there, which again was present in Gnihuach but is not present in classical Mondir. It's super cool, super impressive. You put so much effort into the proto-language that it effectively and very naturalistically crafts Mondir, and I love that. So here we have the pronouns. We have a lot of pronouns. They do not distinguish the difference between he, she, and it, so we only have the common gender and the neuter gender. And then we have, for first person singular, we have si, which becomes silo. We have second person is sor, which becomes solo. And then we have the third person, which is I, which becomes ilo. So then on the right we have the genitive conjugation, where we have them separated into the common gender and the neuter gender. It creates a very large and very beautiful set of pronoun choices. And you can start to see the Latinish vibe that Salem was going for starting to show through. And it'll get better, you'll see. So the verbs in Mondir are declined by tense, mood, plurality, and grammatical person. So there is sometimes pro-drop that happens, generally only for first-person singular ergative, but of course there's exceptions. There's 4 combinations of tense and aspect. We have present, present perfect, past, and pluperfect. We have 3 voices. There's active, anti-passive, and passive, but there's only really conjugations for active and anti-passive, and the passive is just signified through other moods and such. There's the 4 moods. There's indicative, subjunctive, optative, and imperative. And there are so many variations, conditions, and irregularities within the verb section. And it begins on page 38. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I'm just going to scroll through it real quick just to show you just like how much work you put into it. So here's where the verbs start. right? We have all this on the voicing, the aspects, the moods, the various elements that cause them to change, and the different ways you can use them to signify different meanings and vibes with all the moods. So verb conjugation. So we have, just as there are 4 declension classes, similarly there exist 4 conjugation classes. The verb misere is a part of the class 1 conjugation here, where we have the person and we have the singular and the plural elements to it, the active, anti-passive voices, along with infinitive and gerund. So there's irregular verbs. This verb ere, to go, and to be, some of the most common verbs, are going to have the most irregularity. So the other irregular verb is ire, which is to be. They have imperative conjugations for commands. Then the 4 word classes coincide with the 4 classes of participles as well, or we have present participles and past participles that go into these words. And then we have actual numbers. So Salem says that it's base 20, though it really does still work in a base 10 context, but in a kind of a French-ish way. We have not only that, but we have how, of course, the most common one of them, one, when used in a cardinal kind of way, it takes a different form because it's now an adjective, and that depends on all the cases. Toga becomes toge, and it's all the various forms, depending on the situation. Oh yeah, another outstanding feature. There's an affix that goes on anything that's going to be a noun or an adjective. There's one nominalizing affix that goes on both nouns and adjectives. Again, it relates to the various declensions as they fit in. And so, now onto the syntax. In terms of word order, it's generally SOV, but it's a little bit loose. There's 2 copulas and 3 modals. The copulas are ire and tobure, which mean to be and to be located somewhere, respectively. And then the modal verbs, the verbs that you slap on in front of another verb, there's only 3 of them that are permitted to be used in such a way. We have onire, which is want, or kedere, which means can or is able to, and norsire, which is should or has to. Then there's also the causative verb formations, which are really interesting. This is another outstanding feature here, because they're formed out of a reduplication of what the verb was like in Gnihua, creating a lot of interesting results. So here on the bottom left I have the historical sound changes that have happened between Gnihua and Mondir. Misire, mimisire, orore, orure, rerare, rerirare. Just when you thought it couldn't get any more irregular, we also have certain transitive verbs where the patient should be represented using the genitive instead of the absolutive. Negation and interrogatives. So there are many forms of es, which means not. So esrondi tobu means there is no man. And then there's also the various alterations of this, like esis, which is never, eside, which is nothing, eria, which is nobody, ergu, which is nowhere, and esidu, which is nowhere also. And then for interrogatives, we have the 3 question words here. We have nite, which is what, nage, which is who, and nodo, which is which. Alright, and then to just really show off the very end of it, Salem made the Babel text to translation. On hanli monnette nikite narniro narari tobute. Ossi ilo aibiu ni salate. On ilo foltus nikite sinaru ta salate. On ilu sidu ogolote. On ilo togu naralate. Fossaria reglolo mobandalo. On fobulo ilo munner. On ilo mobandalo ruar andalai togolote. On ilo seraruar comete. On ilo naralate. Fossaria corgilli ugresikeron mollogo sarnikimite. On homirullo silumis ruaris kisillirosi silo ermonnu mondagu. On sorni fossate pennollure rondile corgirue ugresikeron mollogo rirotere. On sor narate, oraria, iagelo togeine, on illo toge narnir togolo. On ilo isi regrore urili, on febio esire sine, nallo ilo regrore onillo. Fossaria, ni fossalla, on escorgili sido ilo narnir, casobe ilo chede narari toggo es niburili. Ise sorua ilo ageri mon numis nikit mite hisite on ilu korgiri ugresiku regrote. Burisu homori ugresiku babelire. Nimo sorua sidu narnir mon nunikite escorgite on ilo ageri mon numis nikimite hisite. Seriously, this language is huge, and the fact that Salem made this in just a couple of months of sleepless nights, as he put it, is really impressive. In addition to what I've shown, there's an entire dictionary. There's a section on levels of politeness, there's a section on direct and indirect speech, on hypotheticals, several forms of comparative sentences, and so much more that I couldn't get into a single video. I strongly urge you to check out Salem's Instagram, which is at salem.the.conlang. There he is. Follow him on Instagram. Check out his stuff. Enjoy Mondir. I hope you guys liked it, because to me this was a really impressive language, a really complicated language with so much detail that it was literally hard for me to fully describe in a video. So, alright everybody, not out yet again. I will see you next week.